Number 24, Chalice Pascucci. Assistant coaches, Rory Nielsen.
Welcome back here to the Coliseum. Tommy Schegler along with Dave Doc Skelton as we are moments away from tip-off between Southern Utah and IPFW. They're going over the starting lineups here on the floor. We will do the same right now, and we will start with the visiting Southern Utah Thunderbirds. It's going to be Kayla Goff in the backcourt. She is a 5'8 sophomore guard. Danny Hosking, I should say. She's a 5'8 freshman guard from South Weber, Utah. Also, it's going to be Ann Higby in the front court. She's a 6'1 senior. It's Chalice Patsucci, also a forward 6'2 sophomore. This is a young team. And then Caitlin Sears, a kind of a 3-guard slash forward, 5'10", another sophomore. So only one senior in the starting lineup for the Thunderbirds. Now let's take a look at the Dons as you take a look at interim head coach Kit James there for the Thunderbirds. Now IPFW, Sarah Holuska, Courtney Reed in the backcourt along with Nan Moore, Jordan Zoop, and Eva Ivanova. Obviously, it is senior day, so getting these seniors into the lineup as much as possible probably going to be something that Chris Paul wants to do.
Should be an exciting game, and so it's time to take a look and see who can get the job done.
Pardon me, it's not senior day because they have another home game on Monday.
That's right. That'll be at the Gates Center on Monday.
Yeah. I'm in the men's mode as they have senior day after this one. This is the front end of a women's-men's doubleheader, and it's senior day for the men's in this game after. They also are going to be up against the Thunderbirds here this afternoon and fighting for seeding in that one as the men's team has already punched its ticket into the Summit League tourney, and that's what the women's team is getting ready to try to do on this floor right here today.
Yeah, the particular seeding that they'll end up with may have to wait till Monday, but they ought to have a pretty good idea today whether they're in or out. Main thing's to get in. You got to beat them all anyway, so who do you start with?
Absolutely. All right, so the Dons in the home whites with the blue and gray trim, the Thunderbirds in the black road unis, red and white trim. And we are almost set for tip-off here from the Coliseum.
When you look at the two lineups, they look kind of similar in size and build and so forth, but their strengths are quite different. Defense and rebounding for Southern Utah and three-point shooting and get up and go for the Dons.
It was a good game when these two met back on December 8th at Southern Utah. 2-point win for the Dons. Let's see how today works out. IPFW controls the opening tip. Here is Zoop coming off the screen. Now over to Nan Moore. Back to Zoop, back to Moore.
Nan Moore has really given this team a nice lift in the last 2 or 3 ball games.
Turnover there. She tried to force it inside, so a turnover on the opening possession for IPFW. And here come the Thunderbirds for the first time. This is Kayla Goff, and then down low to Pasucci. Now up and under, kick out. Good defense shown by the Dons. 8 on the shot clock. Drive and shoot, no good. Fight for the rebound, and the Dons come away with it. Caitlin Sears couldn't find the range there for the Thunderbirds, and back comes IPFW.
Both teams have opened up in a man-to-man defense, so we'll see where they go from there.
Ivanova left all by herself, can't hit the bunny. And coming away with the rebound is Pasucci for the Thunderbirds. Goff inside, baseline. Ivanova cuts off the baseline decently. Pasucci in the lane. Rainbow shot goes off side iron. And the Dons once again pull down the rebound and come the other way.
Both defenses are making it pretty difficult to get a good shot.
And as a result, no score early on. Nan Moore trying to change that. She can't find the range as both teams start out a little cold here from the floor. Pasucci lost everyone underneath, but a nice block by Ivanova down low.
Great recovery on the defense by Ivanova.
All right, Chris Paul is up and barking out some instructions. They get it down low to Ivanova, deep in the lane, and she's going to make that 9 times out of 10.
Yeah, that's a tough shot to miss.
First 2 points of the game for either team. The Dons take a 2-0 early lead here from the Coliseum. And a walk down low. That was Ann Higbee, the lone senior in the starting lineup for Kit Janes.
Ann Higbee is one on the Southern Utah team that is closing in on an awful lot of career records. She's been a stalwart for them for 4 years.
Here is Moore. Over to Jordan. Jordan comes off a high screen, then back over to Moore. Haluska was working hard down low, wanted the ball. Zoop instead into the lane and hits the medium range J.
Dons are off to a good start.
4-0 just like that, and defensively looking very strong. There's Pasucci in the high post. Has to get it off to Goff. Goff lets a 3 fly, and the first points of the game end up being a 3 for the Thunderbirds. Kayla Goff, the sophomore guard from Vegas. Ivanova wide open once again, all alone, and she is just having her way down there.
Defensively, they're getting lost with Ivanova in the lane.
6-3 early lead, and Nan Moore comes away with the steal. 2 Thunderbirds there, and Moore goes the other way for the lay-in. Kit Janes wants a timeout because the Dons have opened up a 5-point lead.
Nice big spark by Nan Moore in there. Tough on the defense.
So an 8-3 lead for IPFW. Chris Paul likes the way this game has started out.
2 weeks ago, IPFW got off to a great start here against Oral Roberts. Had about a 40-22 lead, I think, at halftime. And they're on their way today.
But defensively, they've looked very strong.
Yes, they have.
And they've now limited the Thunderbirds to just 25% shooting from the floor. 1 of 4 to start the game, while the Dons are 4 of 6.
Yeah, Southern Utah has struggled with the offense to get a good look at the basket.
Goff comes dangerously close to carrying that ball, and Moore ties her up in the corner. Another turnover.
Forced to travel.
Called for a travel. That's not what you want out of a timeout if you're Kit Janes.
No, I don't think so. And I think he's telling him about it right now.
You know, Goff, the point guard, the sophomore point guard for the Thunderbirds, definitely can be exploited because that handle is not the strongest. Sarah Haluska, head fake, drive, kick. Moore's got a mismatch, but forces up a shot, an ill-advised shot.
And man, Moore got her hand on the ball again.
All right, here is the Thunderbirds. This is actually Danny Hosking. And up and in with the foul for Ann Higbee. Nice pass by Pasucci. And we have a timeout on the floor. We are going to take it with them. The score 8-3, IPFW, the early lead here from the Coliseum. Oh, 8-3. Got caught looking at the looking at that.
Yeah.
Wow, there's no one here.
Out. If we look for Higbee, it'll have to be under.
Oh yeah, Westwood.
Yeah.
Welcome back here to the Coliseum. The Thunderbirds trying to get something going. Pasucci down to Higbee and one. That was the bucket right before we went to the break. It is 8-5. I said 8-3 as we went to the break. And actually, Higbee looking to try to make it just a 2-point game and complete this 3-point play, which she does. So just a 2-point lead for IPFW. They've fought hard and gotten out to a great start, but don't have a lot to show for it at this point. Haluska. Ivanova wants that ball. So they're playing four up, one down, and Ivanova off glass.
And we'll have to check the next time down, but it looked like Southern Utah might have shifted into a zone defense.
Here's Goff with Moore on her. Moore has harassed her all day, and a foul called away from the ball this time. Jordan Zoop called for the personal foul.
Chelsea Jackson into the lineup for IPFW, replacing Nan Moore.
Yep, Nan Moore takes a seat.
She'll catch her breath and come back running again.
Here is Goff to inbound. Can't find anybody and throws it away. Jordan Zoop comes away with the steal. And Goff has gotten out to a really tough start here for the Thunderbirds. Zoop, three on the way is good!
Well, that's one of the strengths of the Dons. They can put that three up there by a lot of different people and hit it.
Here's Goff. They run a play down low. They get it inside to Higbee, and she puts in a nice, pretty little reverse.
Nice reverse layup.
13-8. Dons up by 5. Ivanova loses it, and it's a turnover the other way.
Yeah, Jackson gave her a tough pass to handle.
Cassie Platt brings it into the front court. They now get it down low to Higbee. Higbee uses two different pivot foots, and that's not allowed.
No, the game has changed, but it hasn't changed that much.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so that's a turnover. Goes back over to the Dons. And you have a 5-point lead. Tina Moen in the game for the first time. Sarah Haluska, I should say, takes a seat for IPFW. Moen setting the screen there. Now they look forward down low. Double teamed. It is a foul down low is going to go against Chalice Pasucci.
Tina Moen is another senior on the Dons squad that has really given them a nice pick-me-up in this last month.
Definitely looks, Doc, that appears that Thunderbirds have gone into that zone that you were talking about.
Yeah, we'll have
to
check. They may be switching back and forth, but
last two possessions they have been in a zone since you pointed that out.
Yeah.
Chris Paul working the refs. Team really has played a lot better down the stretch. Coming off 2 straight wins, and really ever since we did that ORU game several weeks back, Doc, they've won 4 out of their last 5.
Yeah.
And Goff turns it over again for the Thunderbirds, so the Dons take over up 7, looking to kind of get some separation here early on in the first half. But we sat here on the day of that ORU game, that was back on February 7th, and said that they either have to win them all the rest of the way out or they have to come real close, and
they've just about done it.
They had just about done it. 4 out of 5. So
Southern Utah, on the other hand, has lost 5 out of their last 6. So they've been on the other side of the hill.
And I think Higbee just walked again, but they didn't call it this time. But great defense being applied, although as I say that, Ivanova is head faked and she loses Higbee.
Yeah, Higbee's keeping them in the game.
She has 7 points. Dons, though, still up 5. And they are back to a jump ball goes over to Southern Utah as that time the Thunderbirds went back to the man-to-man. So they are switching it up right now on the Dons. Ivanova going to take a seat on the pine. Haluska comes back into the game.
The Dons have been playing good ball in terms of not turning the ball over a lot. One of the better ratios in the team in the league.
This is Platt with the ball. She gets it high post to Sears. Now jab step by Higbee. Hosking, baseline, off glass, and a pretty shot.
Nice drive on the baseline.
Danny Hosking, the 5'8" freshman. Haluska 3-ball on the way, not even close. That's an air ball.
She didn't have that second bowl of Wheaties this morning.
Once again, it feels, sitting here, like the Dons are dominating this game, but they don't have a whole lot to show for it.
Can't shake them on the scoreboard.
And ball goes off the foot of Jordan Zoop, and they actually end up calling a foul on Jordan Zoop, and that is going to be her second. So she's going to have to come out of the game immediately, and Nan Moore will check back in. Paul not happy with that particular call.
Well, Nan didn't need a long rest. She can come in and really spark the club.
Southern Utah's made their last 4 shots, starting to find some holes in the Dons' defense. Down low to Hosking. She's been the one that has really hurt them. Dribbling and driving is Sears, and Hosking from the foul line. 5 baskets in a row now for the Thunderbirds.
And Hoskins has a couple of those. She's warming up.
And Southern Utah is within 1 for Chelsea Jackson on the drive.
That's one of the really strong things that Chelsea does. Even though she's bounced a little bit, makes a little body contact, goes ahead and gets the shot off.
All right, so Jackson will be trying to complete the 3-point play when we come back from the break. Don's up 3 right now. We'll be right back after this.
Go for it, Bill.
Morgan Slade came in for somebody, and I'm not sure who, on the Southern Utah. Kayla Goff, maybe.
Welcome back here to the Coliseum. 17-14 here in the first half. Don's trying to punch their ticket into the Summit League tournament with a win today over the Thunderbirds, while Southern Utah trying to stay alive in the hunt for the conference tourney. Chelsea Jackson drops in the free throw and completes the old-fashioned 3-point play, gives her team an 18-14 lead. Casey Platt bringing the ball up the floor. Platt has kind of stabilized things as Goff really struggled against Nan Moore in the early minutes. Since Platt has come in, the turnovers have lessened. And a 3 on the way and short by Sears.
Nice rebound by Tina Moen.
Here come the Dons the other way. Courtney Reed to Jackson. Jackson thought about penetrating, pulls out, pops, and couldn't get it to go. Nan Moore runs down the rebound, and it almost goes out of bounds. Moore was into the third row of the stands, but recovers and is on her way back down the floor and appears to have recovered. And first the shot up and a miss, but gets her own rebound as Morgan Slade, and she's fouled on the putback attempt.
Foul on the shot. Charge to Chelsea Jackson for first.
Slade, another freshman. as there are a lot of young players on this Southern Utah team.
A lot of freshmen, a lot of sophomores.
Only one senior on the whole roster.
And she's a pretty good one.
Yeah, and we've found that out so far today. Ann Higbee really kind of flexed her muscles as we've gone through this half. She's 3 for 3 with 7 points. Jackson, short on the little jumper. Nan Moore fights the rebound. And here's Reed.
Good hustle by Nan. Allowed Courtney Reed.
And they turn it over.
Chelsea makes an errant pass on the side.
Ivanova back into the ball game. Feel like there is a definite advantage matchup-wise for the Dons down low with Ivanova. They really need to kind of pound it down low into her.
Yeah, she's bigger, stronger than anybody they have on the floor.
Here's Platt. Now Sears. Sears pulls up, and she gets the friendly roll.
Very friendly.
Once again within 2, Southern Utah, as they really have heated up from the floor, now shooting 58%. They started out the game 1 for their first 4. And they're now 7 of 12. The Dons, on the other hand, have kind of gone cold.
Yeah, that last shot was another air ball.
Ivanova wants the ball down low. Got to get it to her. Instead, Jackson pulls the trigger and misses another jumper. Moore is called for the foul over the back. And right now, Jackson is not fluid in the offense.
No, her shot isn't coming real close. She's getting a little frustrated.
All right, here are the Thunderbirds. Sears up top, down low. Pasucci out of Platt. 10 on the shot clock. Slade to Pasucci. And baseline jumper is drained by Caitlin Sears. Tie ball game.
Yeah, IPFW normally not too many turnovers, but there goes another one.
Yeah, another turnover. Jackson, Ivanova could not handle the bounce pass. Pasucci misses from the block. Ball deflected out of bounds by Slade. And checking in for the first time today for the Thunderbirds, Stephanie Sampson, as Sears, who's been hot the last several possessions, will come out and take a seat.
And Ann Bosey comes in for IPFW, replacing Chelsea Jackson.
There's Reed. Aluska to the baseline. She decides to take the little jumper and it drains it.
Nice move.
Dons retake the lead, 20-18. Platt goes baseline. Pasucci hits on the putback.
And it looked like she might have had somebody hanging on her arm when she went up. Southern Utah now back into their man-to-man defense.
And they get it down low to Ivanova. Ivanova, this time off back iron, no good. Ball goes out of bounds. Gonna stay with the Dons. No, gonna go over to Southern Utah. And we have another timeout on the floor. Game tied, 20-20. We are gonna take a break. We will be right back with more of the first half from the Coliseum after this.
Business and member services, loans, mortgages, and more. IPFW and all the benefits of membership.
Welcome back to the Coliseum. Tommy Schegler along with Doc Skelton, 20-20. We are all tied up. Southern Utah has been red hot after somewhat of a slow start. 56% from the floor. And they are kind of having their way as the Dons have struggled offensively since really early, looking pretty solid. Asuchi, medium range jumper all alone, can't hit. Moore running the other way.
And Goff is back into the lineup, I think, for, no, she's not.
Courtney Reed, now to Moore. Moore over to Ambosi. Gets a screen from Ivanova. Now back to Ivanova. She goes strong. Felt like she was fouled.
Looked like it, yeah. Nice give and go.
And Jordan Zoop having 2 fouls has really kind of hurt this team. They don't look like the same offensive team without her out on the wing.
She's a threat every time she has the ball.
This is Stephanie Sampson in the corner, guarded by Moore, and she's kind of tied her up. But a nice pass. Higbee blocked by Ivanova. Ends up going out off of Ava, but
nice recovery.
Yeah, Evan Ivanova was completely beaten, but came out of nowhere to block Higbee's shot. Morgan Slade will come back into the ball game for Chalice Pasucci. Sampson. Flat, and that is going to be a shot clock violation. There was only 3 seconds on the shot clock, and it doesn't look like the Thunderbirds were aware.
I don't think they realized that when they got the ball out of bounds, because the shot was blocked and didn't draw in the iron.
Quick moving first half here from the Coliseum. Only 7 fouls called the entire game so far. Tommy Schegler and Doc Skelton, as we are watching the Dons try to punch their ticket into the Summit League tournament with a win today.
Ivanova had a good move that time, just didn't get the ball up high enough.
And Moore, another near steal, ends up a jump ball, and it will go over to the Dons.
Yeah, Nan's making a lot of good things happen on that defense out there.
Absolutely. She has really been a catalyst for a lot of big plays. And 30-second timeout. Kit Janes wants to talk things over a little bit over here on the Southern Utah bench. But, you know, you look at the way that this game started to play out. It looked like Ivanova was going to be a force. It looked like Jordan Zoop was going to have her way. 2 quick fouls on her. It doesn't feel like the Dons have been the same offensively since.
And Southern Utah has tightened up the defense on the inside.
You see the full screen there. If you want to check out and get some Mastodon tickets of your own, just go to the IPFW Athletic Events, call 481-6000. Go to IPFW's athletic website, gomastodons.com, or call 481-6000. Of course, gomastodons.com is your place for everything that is IPFW. And a quick foul called down low on Morgan Slade as the post-entry pass came into Evan Ivanova.
And still not very many fouls.
No, it's been very quick moving, cleanly played. Jordan Zoop is back into the ball game, by the way. Nan Moore, they get it back into Ivanova. Ivanova strong, can't get it to go. Nan Moore there for another big play. Offensive rebound.
Kept the ball alive.
They are really trying to go down to Eva. Moore. And travel called.
Eva's just not getting much arch on her shot, so they don't get a chance to fall in.
Caitlin Sears coming back in the ball game for Stephanie Sampson. And that's Cassie Platt. Platt bringing the ball up the floor. They look down low. Pass is deflected as they try to get it down low. Into Higbee. Up and under move. Shot no good by Hosking. 6 on the shot clock.
Coach James is making sure they don't fall asleep like they did last time.
And some discussion between the refs. Of course, it was an air ball.
Yeah, and didn't draw any iron at all, so it shouldn't be a reset.
All right, so 6 on the shot clock for the Thunderbirds as they set to inbound. Cassie Platt. And wide open, Platt on the other end as Higbee had triple coverage.
Yes, she did. They triple teamed her that time, and she found the open player.
And Southern Utah takes the lead, 22-20.
That was the first score by either team in quite some time.
First lead of the ball game for the Thunderbirds, but Bosey takes it right back for the Dons.
Well, she's a threat from the three-point arc anytime.
Cassie Platt into the front court. Here's Sears. And driving right around Jordan Zook. That's a mismatch there for the Thunderbirds.
Jordan had to be a little careful with 2 fouls already.
High screen set by Tina Moen. Now they go Bosey. And Ivanova on the screen and roll. Nice pass to Moen. Draws the contact. Almost got the bucket to fall. But she'll go to the line.
She did a nice job of even getting the ball up on the glass. And nearly got it to fall through.
And Higbee called for her first foul of the game there. 4:11 in the first half.
Tina's first miss at the line today. She was 2 for 2 going into that one.
Here's the second attempt.
Short.
That one not even close.
No.
So Southern Utah back in front. Under 4 minutes to play now here in the first half. And looks like a foul called down low. It's going to go against Bosey. And timeout on the floor. Southern Utah has a 1-point lead as we're in the closing moments of the first half. We're going to take a break and be right back.
Yeah, there hasn't been much scoring at all in the last, 6-7 minutes. Although you pointed out that shooting for Southern Utah is pretty good.
(24-23), Southern Utah in front right now and has the ball. IPFW trying to get into the Summit League tournament with a win today. They have gone cold from the field for the last several minutes. And Sears, she has that baseline jumper in her arsenal, but this time it won't go. It's going to stay with the Thunderbirds.
Ivanova did a nice job that time keeping the ball away from Southern Utah, knocked it out of bounds, but didn't have good position.
They get it inside to Higbee, stolen away by Moen. Here comes Chelsea Jackson. Jackson thinks about it, now pulls it back out. They'll set up the offense. Moen on the baseline, jumper rattles around and comes out. Pace kind of quickening over the last minute.
Neither team putting up very many three-point shots, and that's a little surprising for IPFW. Southern Utah doesn't use the three a lot.
Here's Sears, crossover down low to Higbee. Higbee, Ivanova on her, 5 on the shot clock. Shot up for Hosking, she can't get it to go. Long rebound out to Bosey. Bosey to Zoop, back to Bosey, back to Zoop. Here's Chelsea Jackson in the corner. Ivanova was wide open.
Yeah, they didn't get the ball to her quickly enough.
And that's not the shot that you want. She had her defender sealed off in the middle of the lane. That's when you want to get it to her. Here's Sears. Back up top to Platt. As they are really looking down low, you can tell they really want to get it to Higbee.
Yeah.
Or Pasucci, one of the two.
And Ivanova and Moen both have been playing really good defense in the lane.
Here's Sears. She can create. She gets a high screen, pulls up for the jumper, and no good off the back of the rim. Moen comes down with a rebound. Another good defensive possession for IPFW. Jackson penetrating, stopping, and kisses it off glass and in.
She's got a great touch off of the glass when she's in close.
Dons retake the lead, 25-24. Looking for Pasucci, and Moen doing a great job of fronting the post.
Denying the ball.
And here's Higbee on Ivanova. Couple moves, gets it up, can't get it to go. Zoop the long rebound, and a reach.
On the floor, personal foul.
It's going to go against, that's going to go against Higbee.
Probably a frustration foul.
That'll be her second.
Number 13.
As coming back in the game is Kayla Goff. The sophomore guard back into the ball game. Nan Moore was able to do some things against her earlier. Timeout on the floor by Chris Paul. All right, so Chris Paul wants to talk things over. 1:36 left in the first half. If you remember, we take a look back to, well, let's take a look at the Arnie Ball show. Get inside the set, hard-hitting, high-flying IPFW men's volleyball program each Thursday, Friday, and Saturday on College Access Television. Coach Arnie Ball and Coach Mark Franke bring you scores and highlights, talk about the matches, the competition, and introduce you to a player or even a guest. It's the Arnie Ball Show, Wednesdays at 6 and Thursdays at 7:30 on College Access Television.
One of the sets they had last night in volleyball against Ball State went 36-32, or 34.
Wow. And Goff called for a quick foul coming out of the timeout. That's Goff's first. One more, and the Dons will be in the bonus. We're 1:27 left in the first half. Neither team in the bonus yet.
And they may not.
So here's Jackson, high screen, roll to Moen. That was a perfectly executed play. Moen can't hit on the reverse, but gets it back and puts it in.
Nice, strong follow.
That's what you need.
Yep.
That was a good screen, good roll, good look by Jackson. Good play out of the timeout for Chris Paul. Here's Slade, down low, turning into the lane, no. And high rebound, Pasucci. Pasucci leading with the elbow, but they call it jump ball before any of that occurred, and it will go over to IPFW.
Alternate possession.
So the Dons with a 3-point lead, looking to expand on that, see if they can get a 2-for-1 here. Moen, down low, working, kicking, and turning the ball over. Well, they're going to get a 2-for-1, but it's not the way that Chris Paul would want.
I think Tina lost the handle on it that time and couldn't get a pass out.
And Moore checked in for the Dons.
Okay, so
Man Moore for a little defensive purpose here, maybe, huh?
Nan Moore back in the ball game. Chris Paul wants to see his team finish strong here in the closing minute. They do a little trap for the first time this half. They have a zone out there right now.
Yeah, and they're looking, oh, nice
and
reach in.
Almost got the turnover, and Courtney Reed gets a hand in there. That was a swarming matchup zone.
14 on the shot clock.
Goff to inbound, almost turns it over. 3 on the way is a rainbow one that drops for Danny Hosking. And then a foul away from the ball. I think it's going to go against Chalice Pasucci. All right, so Pasucci gets called for the foul, and that will result in the bonus finally for the Dons, or either team for that matter. You see Kit James, he was not pleased with that call. Courtney Reed knocks it in.
Courtney's pretty solid at the free throw line.
And second one from Courtney is no good, rattles out. 19 seconds to go in the first half. Dons with a 1-point lead. Nan Moore guarding on Hosking. She walked. Back over to the Dons. Chris Paul barking out orders. Let's see what they can get with 7.5 to go.
There ought to be plenty of time to get a good look.
And Jackson wisely lets the ball roll up a little bit. She gets into the lane and gets the driving shot to go. And that will be the last shot of the first half. 30-27 at the break. The Dons take a 3-point lead into the locker room. Kit James wants to talk a little bit with the ref before he heads off to the locker room. Either way, his team will be down 3, and Chris Paul's team has a 3-point advantage as we head to halftime. Coming up, we have a lot to share with you for the halftime show, including all the first half stats and highlights. But first, we gotta take a break. So that's what we'll do right now. We'll be back with the halftime show after this. 30-27, our score at the half.
Well, we'll see if that trivia stat holds up.
Oh, yeah, that's when you should say this.
Got that now. Half-court shot. Logan, half-court. Here we go. And just off the mark, we thank Logan Weber for being our participant this afternoon. The St. Joe Blaze Apartment Complete Package Shooter. We thank him for taking part. We thank our sponsor, St. Joe Blaze Apartments. Again, opening the fall 2009. St. Joe Blaze Apartments supporting basketball.
Now, if we could do stats, if we could.
Stats in this first break. I have 2 breaks, right? 2 breaks at halftime. All right, let's do stats in the first. Then we'll take a break. Come back and do first half highlights if we could. And then take another break, and then we should be about done.
They have stats for us?
Yeah, well, I saw him picking some up there. Haven't gotten them yet. There, they're coming out.
So out of 28 shots, they only made 12.
Go to what with you?
You want me to just go down the whole list or FG 50%, 42.9%.
The what? Oh, the Bahamas.
FG 3.203.
Okay. All right. So we're doing highlights now.
Being copied right now. 44.4%.
Shopping for your Mastodon gear is
You know how many
moving
highlights
easier.
we have
Just
or how
visit
long?
8.
Not only will we be getting great looking IPFW apparel, you'll be supporting the IPFW athletic department.
Halftime here at the Coliseum. Tommy Schegler along with Dave Doc Skelton. 30-27 at the half, Dave. We're looking pretty good right now.
Yeah, and one of the things that we were looking at before the game, a trivia stat. Neither of these two teams has won a game when trailing at halftime.
Right.
So that's a good sign for IPFW. Let's hope.
Absolutely. Hopefully that is a trend that continues. Let's take a look at the first half stats and see how we arrived here. IPFW came out very strong in this game by going down to Ivanova, and they built a 5-point lead, 8-3. And Caitlin Goff really struggled against Nan Moore. That was a bank shot that kind of luckily went in for the Dons. But this is Ivanova, kind of losing her defender a couple of different times in the lane. This is the struggles of Goff that I was just referring to. Nan Moore really bothered her throughout the early portions of this game. She gets the steal there in the backcourt, ends up going in for the lay-in, but then coming back was the Thunderbirds.
Yeah.
And it was Pasucci and also Higbee who really got it going down low. And this turned into a close game. Chelsea Jackson had a couple of nice moves. Pasucci and Higbee, and then also it was Caitlin Sears.
Here's a move where Haluska came right back and made a nice little jumper.
And then a little bit later on, Cassie Platt behind everyone, as it was Higbee who had been hurting the Dons for several minutes, had a triple team situation and found the open shooter. Tina Moen, and this was just under a minute to go in the first half, staying strong, and this was the three right at the end that tied the game up. That one was by Danny Hosking. But the Dons finished the first half strong. They get the 3-point lead. They're up 30-27, and as Doc just mentioned, neither of these teams have won a game this year when trailing at the half, so hopefully that trend will continue today, and the Dons can get this win, a much-needed win, that will punch their ticket into the Summit League tournament. And we have to take our first break here of the half. When we come back, we're going to go over the first half stats, take a closer look at exactly how we arrived at this point, and talk a little bit about what the Dons need to do in the second half in order to keep things going. 30-27 at the break. We'll be back with more after this. Dude, that was awful.
I'm sorry. He totally just tripped. I'm like, if I knew it was coming, I would have let you know.
My goodness. Couldn't do the highlights. My eyes were watering. No, I didn't think you did it. No woman does that. Dude. Oh, my goodness.
I didn't know it was coming, honestly. It just kept out.
Action today. Women's play. It's South Dakota State at Seminary. UMKC is at Oakland. North Dakota State playing at Oral Roberts.
Look at those stats. Where do my stats go?
Did you not get an updated
Oh,
sheet?
no, here they are.
I got it. He's got them. Thank you. Well, Southern Utah is leading in the rebounding. Neither team has a very good assist to turnover ratio.
Halftime here at the Coliseum, 30-27 our halftime score. IPFW a slim 3-point lead, and when you take a look at the stats, that's kind of what you see right away. A slim, very narrow game between these two squads right now, as we are going to look at the first half stats now. Tommy Schegler along with Doc Skelton. And Doc, you look at this sheet of paper they give us, and there's not a lot of variety. There's not a lot of difference between the two teams.
Practically interchangeable in terms of team totals in the shooting. Southern Utah a slight advantage in the rebounding. IPFW a slight advantage in the fewer turnovers, although probably too many if Chris Paul were taking a look at those. And then everything else pretty even. Free throws, IPFW slight advantage, and that's their 3-point lead.
Yeah, 4 free throws for the Dons and only 1 free throw made for Southern Utah. We actually have that backwards on the full screen board that you're looking at here. It's 4 for IPFW and 3 less turnovers. I think one thing, as you mentioned, Doc, they turned the ball over to the Dons more than Chris Paul would like, but they forced 11 turnovers, and that's something that they definitely do like if you're Chris Paul.
Southern Utah has not been able to get a real smooth offensive movement going because IPFW's pressure makes them move.
Right. All right, we're going to take one more break, and when we come back, we're going to break down what we feel like the Dons need to do here in the second half in order to get this much-needed win at the Coliseum. One last break. We'll be back with analysis and also the beginning of the second half when IBFW women's basketball returns on CATV.
Well, I don't look for Southern Utah to start firing much from the threes. They've done pretty well there already. IPFW usually does, but maybe they're just as well not relying on that three. Ivanova early was using the glass.
Yeah, see, I think they got to keep pounding down low into Ivanova and just work inside out.
She's got to get that shot up on the glass.
Yeah.
It's kind of amazing how few players realize what that square's up there on that glass floor.
Yep. That was bad. That was not fun.
A comedian, huh?
Yeah.
I didn't know it was comedy. It's just, it's like a bounce.
If I didn't like his stocking cap, why I might pick on him, but
Roberta was crop dusting. Totally not me.
not enough fouls for anybody to be in foul trouble.
No.
Jordan too, and they're two big people though. Both have 2, but they're not physical. I mean, they're
Nope. Back here at halftime of the IPFW Southern Utah women's game, 30-27 is our score. The Dons up at the half. Doc has said a couple times throughout halftime, neither of these teams has won a game when trailing at the half, so things looking good from that standpoint for IPFW here at the break. Doc, we're talking during this last break on what we think the Dons need to do in order to try to get this win. Let's go over some of the things that you're thinking.
Well, I think if they can keep getting that ball inside, Ivanova has had some difficulty shooting lately. But if they get it back into her, and Tina Moen did a nice job on a couple of moves on the inside, that I think they still need to work that inside because Southern Utah is not a physically strong team. They play good defense.
Yep.
But they're not physically strong.
Yeah, no, I definitely think that I would definitely agree with that. I think that they need to go, they really need to pound it inside, depending on whether it's Ivanova, whether it's Moen, kind of work from the inside out. Both teams have shot 2 for 3 from behind the arc. We know that IPFW likes to chuck it from the outside, and they've shot a good percentage today. But I think, keep on going inside. Maybe you end up getting some easier looks from three land as a result of that. And that could be very big for Chris Paul's team here in the second half. We've yet to see the explosion by a Jordan Zoop or some of the other shooters on this team, that could develop if you continue to emphasize the inside game.
Yeah, if Ivanova gets it inside, kicks it back out to an open three-point shooter, there should be some good opportunities for the Dons.
Defensively, though, I don't think you change much if you're Chris Paul. You've looked pretty solid on the defensive side of the ball. You've kept the Thunderbirds to just 44% shooting. So that's something that's positive as we go into the second half. And, you know, I think if you're Kit Janes, you probably feel somewhat decent about things as well.
Well, yeah, with 11 turnovers and still being only 3 points down, being a little bit disorganized for the first 4 or 5 or 6 minutes of the game, and then coming back and catching up and keeping it tight.
Fact of the matter is that you got two teams who are, for all essential purposes, fighting for their lives when it comes to living on and getting to get into the Summit League tournament and extend this season. So you're going to see a tough, hard-fought game down to the wire. That's what we expected before this game tipped, and that's still what I expect going into the second half.
And the fact that both of them are needing this game pretty badly could be a factor in terms of the jitters that they seem to have at certain times, or the shooting that was so many shots for IPFW seemed to fall short. And that's they've played here a lot of times, so it shouldn't be a factor.
Starting lineups back on the floor for IPFW. They will go with Nan Moore and Courtney Reed, along with Jordan Zoop in the backcourt, the front court of Sarah Haluska, along with Eva Ivanova. See Chris Paul there, urging his team get out to a good start before they left the bench there. A couple little claps of the hand as they walk out onto the floor. Dons awaiting the Thunderbirds, ready to go here as we get ready to start the second half from the Coliseum. And Thunderbirds will have the ball, moving right here in front of us, working at the basket. And almost turning it over right off the bat was Kayla Golf, I should say. And she has really had a rough afternoon.
She's had a tough time handling the ball, and she's their big point guard.
Danny Hosking has had a good game. She gets it over to Goff. Goff in between the rings, works right side. Looking for Pasucci, and it goes right off of her and almost out of bounds.
And didn't hit the out of bounds, apparently.
Did go out of bounds. I still think it went off of Pasucci, though. All right, so here we go. The refs clarified to Chris Paul that Nan Moore touched the ball while out of bounds after it had gone off Pasucci, so that's why it stays over here with the Thunderbirds. Sears, rainbow three is an air ball. Nan Moore the other way.
She had to try to beat the shot clock.
Courtney Reed works left side. Screen coming here is Ivanova, down low on the block. Working against two defenders, draws the foul. And Higbee, I think, is going to get called, although they just as easily could get Pasucci.
Either one.
And that's big, because that'll be Ann Higbee's third foul here in the opening minutes of the second half.
She and Pasucci are the ones with foul difficulties.
Ivanova nails the first one.
That was a nice entry pass by Courtney Reed from the side. Courtney has 3 of the 4 assists for IPFW in the first half.
Ivanova the second one. And just as you were saying, leading up to the second half, very first possession for the Dons, they pounded inside.
Yeah. And got a good thing to happen.
Goff to a cutting Hosking. Nice pass. Nice cut by Danny Hosking. This is Nan Moore to Haluska. Ivanova wants the ball, gets it, turns, shoots, can't get it to go. And ball stays with the Dons. They say off Caitlin Sears.
Caitlin tried to pull that hand back, but she gave it that guilty look.
Courtney Reed, the inbound. Jordan Zoop, head fake, and now pulls and hits. Back out to a 5-point lead for IPFW. Goff calls out the play with the right hand. Here, quarters court near side. Hosking down into the lane. Pulls back, pops, no. Ball batted around. Here comes Jordan Zoop. Courtney Reed.
Directing traffic, trying to get them set up.
And here's Nan Moore. Under 10 on the shot clock. Zoop into the lane, scooping shot, no. And kind of a bailout call there.
A little bit of a delay call, yeah.
Pasucci, she picks up her third.
That's their two big people in terms of defensively rebounding and plugging up the middle.
Yep, Pasucci and Higbee both with 3 now.
Number 20.
And they will promptly, Pasucci will come out, and Hosking will also come out, and checking into the ball game is...
Number 20 was one of them.
Yep.
Sagers,
Yep.
6'5".
Jamie Sagers, along with Cassie Platt, who we saw a good bit of in the first half. Sagers we have not seen so far today. She is tall, but doesn't have nearly as much mass as Pasucci and Higbee. Rainbow shot by Goff is good from 3 land. 35-32. Nan Moore back the other way. Quick lay-in. Here's Cassie Platt on the wing. And almost a 5-second call. Jordan Zoop, good defense. Down low, Higbee, kick out, 3 on the way from Sears is good. Back-to-back threes for the Thunderbirds.
Yeah,
it's a 2-point game.
As soon as we say they don't rely much on the 3-point shot there, they bury a couple.
Here's Ivanova on the block. She likes it there, turns strong, can't get it to go.
Again, not quite high enough up on the glass.
Goff pushing it. Down to Higbee.
Ivanova has done a nice job defensively also against Higbee.
All right, here's Haluska. Shot clock starting to wind down near the 10-second mark. And Moore pulls and pops.
When in doubt, put it in.
You're going to leave me alone, I'll hit it.
Yes.
Sears trying to get to the baseline. Pulls up instead.
Basket for the Thunderbirds, Caitlin Sears.
39-37, Dons with a 2-point lead. Ivanova on the block, fade away, not really her shot. Nan Moore out of nowhere, offensive board.
Good hustle.
She shouldn't have put that second shot back up though, but was great hustle. Goff into the lane, rattles one out. Higbee there for the putback. Tie ball game.
Well, just when we thought IPFW might be able to stretch it out a little bit, here come the young ladies from Southern Utah.
There's Zoop. Nan Moore thought about the 3, instead baseline. And a charge called right underneath the basket. That's very unusual. And we have an official's timeout on the floor. We're going to take it with them. Tie ball game. It is going to come down to the wire here at the Coliseum this afternoon. We'll be here for every second when we come back.
It's a aggressive that Southern Utah's been offensively for a while.
Yeah,
The
no,
last
absolutely.
2 or 3 minutes.
Okay.
Is that going to be on the last play of the before timeout on the charge?
It looks like it is.
Yeah.
You make the call. Was it a charge or was it a block? Clearly inside that little ring that's underneath the hoop.
And a little difficult to see whether the defender was actually set.
That was a tough call for Nan Moore. All right, so back to live action, tie ball game off of that charge. The Thunderbirds now have the ball, and Nan almost came away with a steal, and Slade rattles one in and out.
The Dons are coming down quickly to see if they can get a bucket. Now they set up.
A little pep in the step of Southern Utah right now. Zoop almost lost it, gets it over to Reed. Cross court now. Aluska into the lane, good.
Basket, Sarah Aluska.
Sarah doesn't shoot a lot, but she usually comes up with a big bucket.
And she's put Don's back up 2. This is Platt to the foul line. Higbee tries to go baseline. Moen cuts her off, but a nice up and under move, but still can't hit the shot. Here come the Dons.
Moen held her ground, didn't give her an easy shot.
Ooh, Moen almost, or Nan Moore almost walked there if she didn't.
She kind of cruised into that.
Here's Moore to Haluska. Haluska left all alone on the elbow and can't get the jumper to fall. This is Stephanie Sampson over to her point guard, Goff. They're looking down low, and that's where they get it. Slade, lob pass, they work the high-low. Moen, pretty good defense, but it didn't prevent Higbee from putting it in, tying the game back up again. Moen strong to the hole and gets it to go. And the Dons are really attacking the bucket after a made hoop on the other end. Here's Platt over to Sampson. Higbee wants the ball, gets it, turns, faces, shoots, and no on the jumper from the Dons. Moen again, strong to the rack, and a foul called. That's going to be against Goff, the little point guard, Kayla Goff, her second.
Personal 13 foul. Chelsea Jackson for IPFW.
Higbee's going to come and take a seat on the bench. Pasucci back in the ball game with the 3 fouls. Of course, Higbee's also got 3 fouls.
Yeah, so she has to be careful of not getting tired and then reaching, getting a careless foul.
Zoop, deep 3 is hit!
3-pointer, Jordan Zoop.
Kit James not liking what he sees out there right in front of us, shaking his head as Jordan Zoop hits a really nice 3. And a foul called underneath on Zoop as she tried to front the post and a perfect pass.
Yeah.
And that is a hard pass to make, and it was made perfectly by Goff on the wing here.
Laid it right up there where the...
35, Stephanie Simpson on the free throw line.
So Simpson now, that was the 3rd on Zoop, by the way. Evan Ivanova comes back into the game after a couple of minutes on the bench.
And even though his contributions have been defensive as well as offensive tonight.
Dons with a 3-point cushion. And here is Jackson. Jackson into the lane. Nice pass to Mullen. Mullen draws contact and one.
Nice drop pass. Nice strong move by Tina Mullen to score.
That was a great look, and we have a timeout. Mullen will try to complete the 3-point play when we come back from the break. The Dons with a 5-point lead. We'll be right back.
Well, looks like they're going to have a good straight-in view of this one, so we'll see what they got.
GoMastodons.com is the official website of IPW Athletics.
Chelsea Jackson going to the bucket. Tina Mullen sliding to the open spot and then drawing the contact and getting the bucket to fall. That is the play that we had on our way to the break. And now Mullen trying to complete that 3-point play at the line as we are back from the break. Mullen 2 for 4 from the line and gets this one to go. He was also giving the Dons a 6-point lead, biggest in a long while. And that was almost a carry by Goff again. She comes dangerously close to carrying that ball. Sears to Higbee, who had lost the defender. She can't hit. Jackson wants to push.
Another short shot.
Jackson over to Mullen. Mullen into the lane. She's feeling it right now. Off glass to the road.
She sure is.
Don shooting 58% from the floor in the second half. They've built themselves an 8-point lead. Higbee almost lost it. Lob pass down low. Pasucci gets it to go. Nice double team, or help side defense, I should say, from Courtney Reed, but Pasucci still gets it to go.
And that's only her second basket of the game.
They really shut her down.
Yeah, they have.
Jordan Zoop, left side over to Mullen. Now to Ivanova. Ivanova into the lane. Mullen, can she hit again? No, not on this trip. But Zoop runs down a rebound.
Good hustle down on the baseline to keep that ball alive for the IPFW Mastodons.
There's Zoop. Over to Ivanova. Jackson penetrating. Reed, 3. No good off back iron.
The Thunderbirds need a basket to stay in this thing.
Pasucci, high post, over to Goff. Back to Pasucci. Blocked by Ivanova and a bailout call.
Looked like a pretty good block up at top, didn't it?
Sure did.
To the Dons 42,
Ivanova called for her first foul on the afternoon.
And as active as she has been, to only have one foul is not bad.
Absolutely. Pasucci puts in the first. And the second. And some full court pressure applied by the Thunderbirds. It's like it's just a little token pressure. Here's Moen. Moen in the lane. No. She's gone cold a little bit, but another offensive rebound for IPFW.
And the Dons have been alert to pick up their loose balls.
Here's Ivanova, high post, corner to Reed. Reed, three, no good. Another offensive board, and a jump ball call that will stay with the Dons.
Tina Moen's been around the ball.
Dons have pulled ahead in the rebounding category by 4. Zoop off the inbounds fires a 3. That won't go. And Pasucci loses it in the lane. Ivanova steals it right away.
Nice alert play by Ivanova. Watching for that lob pass.
All right, so here's Courtney Reed. Quarters court, near sideline. Gives off to Chelsea Jackson. She gets a high screen, gets into the lane, pulls up, Rainbow Bunny won't go.
Coach James wants to get down the floor a little more quickly.
$8:29 to go. Dons up by 4. Foul called that time on Ivanova. Her second. And now Ann Higbee at the line. First one goes in.
Both teams are doing a much better job this second half of protecting the ball. No turnovers for Southern Utah and 1 for IPFW.
All right, so Higbee connects on both. Back to a 2-point game as we get close again. It was an 8-point lead just moments ago for the Dons. They kind of gotten cold in the last few minutes. Ivanova backing down the defender. Turns and shoots. Can't get it to go. Nan Moore, another big play.
He has come up with the loose ball on the baseline.
Jordan Zoop on the right side. Gets cut off. Definitely a reach. No foul called. Chelsea Jackson, 3, rolls in. That was a big shot.
Yes, it was.
Back out to a 5-point lead. Kayla Goff pushed off with the right hand, then finds Higbee. Higbee underneath, and Ivanova just reached out and grabbed her.
Yeah, I think
that almost could have been an intentional foul.
Looked like she was tired and just reached out.
After having no fouls a moment ago, now Ivanova has 3 all of a sudden.
And that could be a big factor coming down the line.
54-51, timeout on the floor. We'll be right back with more IPFW women's basketball. Hey Chad, I'm in the middle of doing an IPFW basketball game on TV. It's okay, you didn't know, I make commercial breaks, so I just had a chance to call you. I'll call you as soon as this is done. Is everything okay? Oh, they did. All right, cool. All right, I'll call you back once I'm off the air. All right, bye. Elmhurst girls won.
Hey, very good.
On the way to state?
Yeah. They got a pretty good ball club.
I love that team. I love it.
Wonder how Southside's doing.
IPFW up 3 points, 7:41 left to go. Big day of women's hoops here at the Coliseum. Big day of girls hoops in high school basketball today. just got word that Elmhurst has moved into the state finals with a win over Benton Central this afternoon in the semi-state in 3A. So congratulations to Elmhurst. They are on their way to the state championship. But business to take care of here at the Coliseum as the Thunderbirds miss the front end of the free throws there. Zoop on the baseline. And Haluska almost lost it, but is able to corral. Jackson penetrate. Now to Moore. Moore in the lane. Runner will go.
Moore.
Nice confident move by Nan Moore.
Goff once again with that push off. And an ill-advised shot on the baseline. Pasucci fouled down low on the putback. Tina Moen. It's going to be her first foul. More fouls being called here in the second half, though, that's for sure.
By a lot, yeah.
They called that a shooting foul, not one on the floor. So Pasucci at the line hits the first.
Southern Utah keeps hanging around.
Well, I tell you what, the Dons have really gone cold in that last 4 minutes as offensive board by Kaylin Sears. She puts it up and in. That was a big play. Cuts it to a 1-point game.
That was a tough putback.
Check that, a 2-point game at 56-54. Here's Jackson. 56-54 the score. Nan Moore is called for travel.
Couldn't get her body to move as quickly as her feet.
All right, so the Thunderbirds could tie this game up or take the lead with a 3. And here's Goff. And Nan Moore, another huge play. She deflects the pass. Haluska comes away with the steal. And Goff should have been called for about 4 fouls there.
Yeah, you could have called it any move you wanted there.
Here's Haluska in between the rings, gives off to Moore. Jackson into the lane. Jackson with the right hand, can't get it to go.
Yeah, IPFW had some difficulty that time getting anything set up on the offense. It was individual moves.
Kayla Goff loses the ball on the crossover. I can't remember ever seeing a point guard who had as much trouble handling the ball.
Yeah. Well, she does have a lot of turnovers, but she generally has a lot of assists too, but not today. Well, she has 3.
To Pasucci. Pasucci almost lost it. 4 on the shot clock. Time winding down. Poked away. And ball goes out of bounds. And another great defensive stand by the Dons. Gets the coaching staff up on their feet. And down on the floor is, I believe that's Ann Higbee. And she's holding her left hand. She may have dislocated a finger. Or at least jammed one terribly.
Yeah.
Is not happy with what's going on with her left hand.
But she's not going to come out of there.
Let's take a look at that. It's a non-shooting hand. And right now, whistle away from the ball. Ref talking with Chris Paul. Not really sure why. I think they're trying to explain why Higbee does not have to come out of the game.
Oh, probably.
All right, so here's Jordan Zoop walking the ball up the floor. Her team up by 2 as we are near the 5-minute mark left in this game. And here is Zoop. Jab step, pulls, pops! Wow! Another huge shot by Jordan Zoop.
I was just about to say IPFW needs something positive out of that possession, and I believe they got it.
A sophomore from Aliquippa, PA. Quick snap pass by Goff, and Higbee couldn't handle it. Dons come away with it in the corner.
Another 5-point lead. Seems like every time they get to 5 or 6, it goes back down to 1 or 2.
Give it back to Zoop. She got 14 on the afternoon. She's ready to go. They swing it. Aluska, double team, kicks it out. 10 on the shot clock. Zoop thought about another 3. Jackson instead spinning into the lane. Gets it to go off glass and one! Wow, what a shot.
Nice move and a big bucket for the Dons.
You might look back on that one and say that was the nail.
That together with the 3 that just preceded it.
Jackson does get the 3-point play completed, so it's back up to 8 all of a sudden. It was just 2 seconds ago. And a 3, not even close for Goff. And here come the Dons, perfectly content to just walk it up the floor at this point.
They can afford now to be very patient on the offense. Still should take the first good shot that they get.
Oh, and a charge called on Jackson. Stephanie Sampson stepped in. And the under 4-minute timeout has come. The Dons have stretched it out to 8 points on a 3 by Jordan Zoop. And then an old-fashioned 3-point play by Chelsea Jackson. We'll be back for the finish of this one next.
We didn't need that last aggressive move down there.
No.
Work that time a little bit. Well, a couple of ticks under 4 minutes here for the Dons to see if they can hang on.
And I would not have thought this team was going to make it into the tournament.
Oh, a month ago?
A month, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
did not look good there for a while.
But
I don't think they're necessarily a team that anybody wants to play right now.
Well,
either.
no, not the way they've been putting it together.
Yep. (62-54), just a shade under 4 minutes to play here at the Coliseum. Tommy Schegler, Doc Skelton joining you. And the Dons really made the plays when needed coming down the stretch here to expand this lead back out. Now, can they hold on? A berth to the Summit League tournament on the line, and a definite walk by Higbee not called.
And maybe an over-the-back pass or a foul.
But nonetheless, the Dons come away with the miss. Here's Jackson. Jackson out to Moen. Moen, medium range jumper, no good, but
follow your shot. Yep.
And Chris Paul says, let's back it out. Once again, perfectly content to watch that shot clock wind down under 3 minutes. Zoop. Kick out. Haluska into the lane to Zoop. That could be a dagger, and she can't hit. And more!
Yeah, look who came up with the ball.
And really should have kicked it out there. And everybody in the crowd wanted a call of out of bounds on the baseline, but didn't come. Sears over to Goff. Now Higbee down low. Cut off perfectly by Tina Moen. Sampson out of Sears. Higbee again. Boy, Moen has done a great job on Higbee.
Yes, she has.
Hasuchi can't hit on the turnaround in the lane. Under 2:30 to go now. And Chris Paul wants a timeout, just a 30-second to talk it over, make sure that he gets a good possession here. The coach can feel. All right, we're going to take a break. We'll be back right after this.
big guy when he stands in front of him.
Oh, yeah. Back to live action here at the Coliseum, just out of the timeout. Tina Moen gets it to go off glass. Fantastic play once again from Chris Paul out of the timeout, and a 10-point lead for the Dons at the 2-minute mark.
Yeah, a couple of seniors have really come up big for the Dons today with Tina Moen and Nan Moore.
Career day for Nan Moore, 11 rebounds, a new career high for Nan. As she comes out of the ball game right now, gets a big hand from the crowd and her teammates on the bench.
She'll probably just get a little breather and then be back to finish it up.
Under 2 to go. And Chris Paul might be getting all of his free throw shooters in there.
Wouldn't be a bad idea.
Jordan Zoop on the wing. It's a high screen to the elbow, kick to Reed. Jackson thought about the 3, now into the lane. Drive, no, won't go. And a foul called on the rebound attempt. Actually, check that, not a foul call. There was a whistle.
Yeah, maybe she called that she was forced out of, I don't know, might have been that Southern Utah player called timeout.
30-second timeout called by Kit Janes here on the Southern Utah bench. He needs his team to score and score quickly. 1 minute and 30 to go, his team's down 10.
Yeah.
All right, the latest Mastodon scores and stats are available on the World Wide Web at gomastodons.com. Check up on the teams, the players, order tickets at the official Mastodon Athletics website. GoMastodons.com, I love it. There every day, Doc.
There you go.
I was there earlier today, in fact. Gotta get my GoMastodons.com in. All right, let's get back to live action. And Thunderbirds need a quick bucket. They need points in a bunch. Hosking, a prayer, barely draws iron. Jordan Zoop comes away with it, and this game is over.
Yeah, up until about the 4-minute mark, Southern Utah was hanging around, staying in there, and they looked like they may have run out of gas now.
Yeah, absolutely. Some fantastic shots. You're going to go back to that sequence. It was a 2-point game. Jordan Zoop hits the 3 to extend it out to 4, and then and Haluska can't hit. Extended out to 5, and then Chelsea Jackson got the old-fashioned 3-point play the next time down. That extended it out to 8, and that was the difference.
That provided a little buffer for the Dons.
So Chris Paul, a month ago, no one would have even guessed there was any chance the Dons would make it into the Summit League tournament. And with this win today, their ticket will be punched.
Yep, they should be in.
They finish up the season on Monday against UMKC. That is senior night. I was giving away senior night like they were candy earlier today. Men coming up next, though, will be senior for them. Senior night for them, and they face the same Southern Utah team, trying to improve their seeding as they're already in the tournament. And turnover, 16 seconds to go. Here's Sears, 2-on-1 over to Pasucci, and she gets the lay-in to go.
Good decision by Haluska not to foul.
But Chris Paul looks on as his team has just gotten themselves a berth into the Summit League tournament. has registered a 5th win in the last 6 games.
5 out of 6, and that's the way you want to finish. Be playing your best ball here at the end.
64-56, your final score. We are going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we will be back with the post-game show. 64-56, your final score. The Dons are in the Summit League tourney. We'll be right back after this.
Yeah, depending on how Oral Roberts does in Western Illinois, 7, 8, and 9 is going to be tight. Well, UMKC. Not out
Yeah,
of
we
reach.
play them.
Yeah, yeah.
And then paint is 26. Okay, and for IPFW, 25 of 59.
So we definitely could jump
42.4%.
UMKC with a win.
5 of 11. 9 of 13. Assist is 13. I mean 9, sorry, 9. Rebounds is 37. 7 steals, 4 blocks, 12 turnovers, and 30 in the paint.
Okay.
And that's right this time, not backwards. Well, it's normally when it's last
No, I'm
time
good, thank you.
They had our stuff on the opposite side of the screen.
Man, that rebounding was huge.
Yes, it was.
They were down 3 at the half, and they won, and they ended up 7 up.
And that's against one of the better rebounding teams in the league.
Well, there you see it. The final score, 64-56. IPFW has punched its ticket into the Summit League tournament on the women's side of things with the team's 5th win in the last 6 games. Chris Paul's team really doing a great job down the stretch of this season, Doc. You just have to be impressed with the way that the ladies have closed out the year.
Yes, after they made their trip to the Dakotas and got beat twice, they have been really, really tough to beat.
All right, let's take a look at the second half highlights, because this was a show to watch. It was a lot of fun for the Dons. And one of the places that we really looked at, Doc, was on the glass. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a second, because the Dons were down at the half and ended up with a sizable rebounding advantage. That was Kayla Goff with a 3 early on in the second half. This is Ann Higby kicking it out to Hosking. And Hosking dropped in another 3. As we were back and forth for most of the second half, I mean, this was a close game. Nan Moore, we mentioned a career day today, ended up with 11 rebounds. That was a career high. But Ann Higby continued to hurt the Dons down low all afternoon long. She ended up with 11 boards, 15 rebounds. Tina Moen, though, saw the lay-in there. She had a fantastic game. And this was the sequence. Up 2. And then a 3 by Jordan Zoop. And then Nan Moore gets the nice little runner to go. There's Sears down low with a lay-in. But that 3 by Zoop, and then another 3 by Zoop. That was just so big. And then Chelsea Jackson the next time down. That was the difference.
Yep.
They were up 2. And then all of a sudden you looked up and they were up 8. And the rest is history.
And one of the more impressive things probably is the fact that the Dons really finished strong today.
Absolutely.
Last 4 minutes is where they took control.
And we mentioned the stats and the situation with the rebound, and we'll talk a little bit more about the entire picture of the stats and leading scores and everything when we come back from break. But just real quickly before we go to break, the rebounding was huge in the
Yes.
second half for IPFW.
Yeah, and the Dons out-rebounded one of the better rebounding teams in the conference.
Down 4 at the half, they end up 7 up in the overall rebounding category and a 14-9 advantage in the offensive boards. A lot of offensive boards were huge. Nanmore with 5 offensive rebounds in this game, and all of them were huge for IPFW. So a big win for the Dons. They are in the Summit League tournament. 64-56 is your final. We're going to take one more break. When we come back, we're going to go over all of these stats. Stick with us.
And Higbee had a double-double, and she's not a big, strong player. I mean, she's a smart player and a good shooter.
No, that's true.
Do we still have more recording?
I've got to get out of here as quick as
Do we have
possible.
more stuff done
Yeah, they're
recording, or are we not?
about ready to do it, I think.
For the... Yeah.
Enough of this.
So much better. Yeah, no, they were perfect.
Enough of this fun job. Now you got to go do your real work.
Yeah, exactly.
This is the last segment, right, guys? Is this the last segment? Do we do the stats and then sign off? I need an answer on that. Okay, great.
Okay. (64-56) the final score at the Coliseum today. IPFW with a big win. They're in the Summit League tournament. Tommy Schegler and Dave Skelton continuing the post-game show. We're going to take a look right now, Doc, at the stats and the leading scores and how exactly the Dons were able to turn a 3-point lead at the half into a win. And let's take a look at some of those second half and overall final stats.
Well, among other things, Nan Moore's career high 11 rebounds certainly helped the Dons to that total of 37 for the team.
And field goal percentage ended up being in the advantage of Southern Utah, but the Dons made up for it on the glass, as you can see, and with less turnovers. They ended up with 8 more shots overall than did the Thunderbirds, so they kind of made up for a slight edge by Southern Utah in the field goal percentage with those other things. And, you know, some balanced scoring out there for IPFW from an individual standpoint. Jordan Zoop with 14 to lead the way. And then you had Tina Moen and Chelsea Jackson each with 13. 8 for Nan Moore, but we mentioned the big career high 11 rebounds, and that ended up being the difference for the Dons. And one game remains in the regular season for IPFW, and still we mentioned the fact that they're in the tournament, but they could still improve their seeding with a win on Monday.
So Mondays will be important because it'll determine where they go into the tournament and who they play.
Yeah, as we mentioned, UMKC on Monday is the matchup. I think we have a graphic that we can show you of that game. And that's what we're doing. Let's take a look at those graphics that we were calling for. Okay, yeah, on Monday, UMKC, as we had been talking about, 7 o'clock at home. Senior night, that is the actual senior night, and it's going to be over at Gates on the campus of IPFW. And so you want to check that out, 7 o'clock, UMKC. That is the regular season finale. As we just mentioned, the Dons can improve a seeding in the Summit League tournament, which they are now in after a 64-56 win. Final thoughts today, Doc?
Just the fact that the Dons finished so strong in the game. It had gone back and forth, and they needed a game like this to really pull one out that was very, very important to them.
And men's volleyball, obviously, next time you can catch a match on TV against Pacific. That's on March 6th on Friday, 7 o'clock. That one also at the Gates Center on CATV, so check that out. So final score, once again here from the Coliseum, 64-56. The Dons get a huge, huge win. And you just have to feel good for this team and for this coaching staff that they were able to really muster up the strength to finish this season so strong. It wasn't just today, really. The second half of today's game, microcosm for the way in which this last month of the season has gone for Chris Paul's team. So congratulations to them. And that is it for us this afternoon from the Coliseum. 64-56, your final score. Once again, for Dave Skelton, I'm Tommy Schegler saying so long from the Coliseum. The Dons are in the Summit League tournament with a big win today, so we look forward to seeing them in the postseason. So long, everybody.